The heavy day it was. My brother-in-law, who was suffering from liver cancer, passed away. The suffering was too long to endure. The body ate itself within 2 years, and there was no strength left for the transplant. It affected everyone, including the children of my sister. The girl was 17, and the boy was 10. My sister lost her charm, beauty, and her body posture to keep her husband alive. She was not only a wife for the last 2 years, but a doctor who searched for the local remedies over the internet, a nurse who kept the whole medicine schedule in her hand, and a mother who cried the whole night each time he screamed in pain like a baby does in fever. She played different roles in the last 2 years. Everyone was crying, but she was exhausted. She had already cried too much, and now no tears were there to lighten her pain. I saw her. She was sitting silent, and she covered her face to hide her swollen eyes. The last 2 days that she spent in the hospital were without sleep. For the last 2 years, every day she woke up hoping to see some recovery or miracle, but there wasn't any. She wept half the time but never showed it to her children. She wore her pain perfectly. My brother-in-law, a successful restaurant owner, did everything for his family as a man does. He earned handsomely and provided everything to them. The 5'11" height and heavy body provided him with a reputation of lalaji. He was always a giver, had a big heart, and always loved to throw food parties, even over small occasions. There was magic in all the dishes that he prepared with his companions. To err is human. It applies to every person on this planet. We have some moral duties for our loved ones and for our families. The responsibilities come to our shoulders stage-wise. That's how this society works. When you're a child, obey your elders and teachers. When you're an adult, you've to seek a civilized life to make your loved ones happy around you. This civilized life contains your proper education and your settlement. And when you settle, you've to take care of your family till your last breath. This is the system of our society, and over 90% of the world population follows this, and that's how we rule this planet other than any species. But there are some other responsibilities too. I would say them the ethical responsibilities. These responsibilities are undervalued nowadays. People love to earn, to provide, because this will make them decent and civilized person. But there is a dark side too. The ethics are hard to follow. That's why religions happened, but even religions fail sometimes, and people break ethics. For the last few years, my brother-in-law became a very high drinker and a tobacco chewer. Since he had earned a lot, so he made himself free of most of his ethical duties. He started coming home very late, almost unconscious, ruined his eating habits, the spicier food and more alcohol. He never knew in which class his son was studying. His daughter was struggling with science subjects in her intermediate. My sister was being ignored constantly. She looked after everything, the children, meeting at school, the expenses, the education, and everything. Her husband just earned money. He understood that money solves every pain, but time is a very strong punch. It hits you eventually depending on how adaptable you're to this world. It hit my brother-in-law very late. When he was about to leave this world, he realized his errors. He realized that his son had no affection toward him. He realized how far he was from his daughter. He realized that he was never fair to his wife. I saw him worrying. But that wasn't the only error he did. A month later, after his death, one day I was sitting and consoling my sister. Then she revealed a huge thing to me. It was ground-shaking. He had an affair. He loved her more than me. I was just a societal responsibility for him. She revealed, and tears just burst out of her eyes. Usually, I always find words for almost every situation, but that day I was speechless. My lips were sealed and my eyes were largely open. My shoulder was supporting her head and my arms were around her, jeans over my right thigh, constantly absorbing her falling tears. How devastating it was. "How do you know this?" I asked after consoling her. She wiped her tears in order to tell me this whole thing. She came here 2 months before his death, didn't bother to ask anything from me and just sat beside his head. She rubbed his head. And? I asked. She was doing what I must do. My sister laughed with pain. He saw her and gently called her name and asked her to rub more, and she was rubbing and crying. My husband was being taken care of by a lady who was crying for him, and I never knew because I always trusted him. She grieved. And no one knows about this? Not even his friends? I asked. That's the problem, brother. Everyone knew except me. The man I always loved was not mine, and that disgusts me. It's completely undigestible. I lost everything. Just look at me, brother. While I am 38, I look 50 years old, lost the woman inside me. I'm just an undead corpse who looked after him in every way, and look what did I get. I can't even find peace. Every night I curse him. She erupted the whole fire. If everyone knew, then why didn't any of them tell you about this? I asked. Because he was Lala G, and Lala G can do anything he wants, she said. Thanks for listening me so patiently. Subscribe and share our page Stories Around You for more enthralling stories, and visit out blog stories aroundyou.in. Have a great time. Bye-bye. See you in next part.